Unscripted.
You know, when it comes to PlayStation and Microsoft sort of going head to head, I almost think that it's a sort of one-way street at times. And what I mean by that is Microsoft, in one hand, mostly Phil Spencer tries to play the nice guy, tries to play the good guy, where he, plays it up that there's not really a competition and he doesn't want to see anybody fail. The problem with that is I don't really see anybody that's a PlayStation fan really want the Xbox side to fail. I think that we all realize that we need all of these companies to sort of do exactly what they're doing and to kind of stay where they're at, because the competition is greatest and pays off for us fans in the long run. And with that being said, you have to absolutely love the way that kind of Sony goes about it. And it's not like they completely go out there and drag Microsoft and Xbox and things like that, but the things that they do seem to be in such stark contrast of what Microsoft is doing that it does make it seem like that at times. And I do think that from a business perspective, that's a very smart thing, because when you have an advantage over your competition, over your rival, you're going to really kind of take advantage of that and let people know, hey, we've got this advantage, we're doing this. And before anybody goes, oh, well, Microsoft doesn't really care, Microsoft has demonstrated that time and time again they actually do care, and we see that just by the way that they go out there and sort of say stuff like, well, we have the most powerful console. Like, why would you say you have the most powerful console if you're not trying to get that little sound bit to go over and let people know to buy your product over the competing product, right? So that's something that I think that people probably probably will have to understand at a different time and different point. But still, it's very interesting to see that. Not only that, but clearly if Microsoft didn't care, they also wouldn't have came out with a cheaper console to undercut what Sony was doing. And I feel like that maybe backfired on them a little bit, because Sony had a console that was more than twice the power for only $100 more, and that's the one that really a lot of people seem to be very interested in and very keen on sort of going forward. But Jim Ryan, the head of PlayStation, did an interview, and he was talking about some very interesting things. And I like doing videos where I can be like kind of informative and stuff like that, talking about what's going on and how these things are kind of happening, and exactly what's going on with the sort of the fan base and the PlayStation 5, because it's been a little bit of a, I would say, lesser news week than normal, than what we would normally get. And that's not necessarily a bad thing. I think for me personally, taking the rest of the year off from podcasts and stuff like that, it gives me a little bit of time to kind of recharge. I'll keep up doing a video a day on my channel as long as there's something to talk about. But for the most part, I've just been enjoying gaming, the family life, all that kind of good stuff, just having a good time. And I think that this is really kind of showcasing exactly some of the big differences between what Microsoft and what Sony are doing in terms of for their fans and with their next generation consoles. And I want to get started, shall we? What's up, everybody? Crapgamer here with Crapgamer Reviews, back with another video. Thank you so much for checking it out. I really do appreciate it. Please like, share, subscribe. I would appreciate that as well. A simple like, that's all it takes. That's all I really ask for, because I put a lot of hard work and effort into these videos, and it just would mean a lot to me if you guys would just give me a simple like. It does just mean the world to me, and it's free for you guys to do. It doesn't cost anything, so keep that in mind as well. What a crazy time to be a gamer, am I right? Like, it is so crazy. It's such a crazy time to be a gamer. And I would have never thought that we would sort of see this during a pandemic and stuff like that, just where we're getting just the crazy amounts of games and stuff like that. It's just been an absolute fantastic time. And for me personally, I gotta say, I'm here for it. I'm really enjoying it. I'm really enjoying what these companies are offering and stuff like that. And even the Xbox, I think Xbox is doing fine for what they're doing. Do I wish that they would have kind of added some games and had some big exclusives and stuff like that? Sure, I do. But I'm not gonna I'm not gonna stress it, because I got PlayStation to play right now anyway. So it sort of is what it is. But shout out to all the old subscribers, new subscribers, and everybody in between. You guys are fantastic. And I just want to say that Jim Ryan doing this interview was very interesting, because they were talking about So he talked about a very interesting thing. He explains how Sony's worldwide studios are deep in work with a variety of different projects right now, and includes upcoming video games for various genres. And he says, I think you'll actually going to see some interesting variations from worldwide studios over the course of this cycle with the PS4. We saw Uncharted Lost Legacy, for example, published in the middle of the cycle, and that worked really well at that point in that time. That model can work really well, and our studios are working on all sorts of things right now. And now, again, you have to kind of take this in sort of stride to what he's actually saying. It's going to be very interesting to see how they kind of set that up. Now, here's the thing that I kind of want to stress, and what I see when I see this interview and I see him talking about, specifically talk about Uncharted Lost Legacy. Now, here's the thing. Uncharted Lost Legacy is a game that really kind of took me, I guess it takes everybody, a certain amount of time to play, to play through a game. Okay, for instance, I really thought that Miles Morales is a fantastic game. I'm right at the end of it, like 15 hours in, and I feel like that is like the perfect time. That 10 to 15 hour mark, 12 to 15 hour mark is a really perfect sort of length for a AAA game. Now hear me out, okay? Because I know some people are going to go, oh, you're just damage controlling for Sony because those are... No, listen, even going back to Xbox, let's go back to Xbox, okay? If you look at some of the games that I like from the last generation, some of my favorite games, Rise of the Tomb Raider, like that's a 12-hour game, the other Tomb Raider, that was a 12-hour game, okay? There are these games that run that little kind of gamut right there, right? Like I played the Mafia 2 remake was right around that time. I think that for me, one of the reasons one of my favorite generations was the Xbox 360 generation is because you had these big AAA games, and a lot of them were in that 15 to 20 hour realm. Even something like Mass Effect could be beat in like 20-25 hours. So I think that that's right. And yes, I get it that there is like people out there that really love that that 100-hour game, and they want to get that feeling that they got, bang for their buck or whatever. And I think that there's a place for that too. I'm not saying cut that out. What I'm saying is, look, Spider-Man Miles Morales is a full game, right? It's a full game. And not only is it a full game, I think that it's a full game that really, kind of showcases everything that the PlayStation 5 can do, and especially after that update with the it's 1440p 60 frames and it has ray tracing. I think considering that they added that realistically shows you what next generation is all about today. You don't have to wait 5 years for that, and I think that definitely means that they probably have some very interesting games in the works that might be maybe slightly smaller games, you know what I mean, but that they're still like going to be great games and stuff like that. And I think a good way to look at this is God of War, right? God of War Ragnarok. Nobody, like, I thought we would get a tease for it because it makes sense. That's what Sony does, right? They go out there, they tease these games. It is what it is, okay? They've always done this. I thought, hey, they'll tease it. It probably won't come out till 2023. It is what it is, but they're going to tease it because everybody loved that game. Now, what did we get? We got a release year of 2021. Now, the last game only came out in March of 2018. Is 3 years long enough to do this? Now, take into consideration this. They started building what was going to be DLC for God of War back in 2018, okay? And it got so big that they decided to just sort of keep going with it and make it its full game. So you had something that started as DLC, and to be clear, I think God of War took me 30 hours to beat, 25, 30 hours, something like that. So again, you could be looking at something that maybe God of War Ragnarok takes, 15 to 20 hours to beat, maybe slightly smaller, but it's gonna take really still have that next gen kind of experience, 60 frames, ray tracing and stuff like that. I think that would be absolutely fantastic for people to sort of see, and that would be something that I think would make a lot of sense for them to do. I do think that that makes a lot of sense, and I think that that's something that we could see. You see stuff like Ratchet and Clank, you know, depending on where you are. I'm all for like the big AAA games. I don't think AAA games have a length per se per game. I just think that you know, that it just realistically means that it's a big budget type game, and if you want to get games out there a little bit faster, I think that's really probably the smartest thing that they can do, and I'm wholeheartedly behind that. You know, get games out there, and this is exactly what I thought was funny, because Microsoft themselves weren't able to accomplish this. Here we are getting a sequel to God of War potentially in just 3 years' time. Same thing with you know, the Horizon sequel, right? In 3.5 years, they managed to get a full Horizon Zero Dawn sequel out. So I just find that to be very kind of comforting, and as a gamer, you want that kind of efficiency, and it seems like Sony's developers have that in spades, and it's very exciting. And so that's what I'm super excited about in the future, and you know, looking forward to seeing exactly what happens down the line. I will link this. You guys can check it out. Let me know what you think. Please sound off, rate, comment, subscribe. Would you be excited to see more games sooner if it meant they weren't maybe you know, 50-hour games or whatever? Let me know. Thanks for watching. Stay safe, happy, healthy, all that kind of good stuff. Have a happy holiday. Rack 'em up. Game on's my friend. Game on. Crapgamer out.
Unscripted.